years, you guys have done a pretty good job of coming back after seasons that maybe weren't what you guys had hoped for. Why has that been the case over the years? And what could that mean for what you guys could potentially do this year?
I think we've had consistency, and when you're consistent, things stay relatively the same for a long period of time. There's years we've played with a couple first round picks and we generally win 10, 12 games, and maybe there's years that we've been consistent as always and not had what would be first round picks and still won some games. So that consistency has allowed us to be competitive for a long period of time. I don't know, about 10 or 12 years ago, Coach Stoops and Bob and I were talking, and he told me one time, he said, the hardest thing was to get to a level that people at Oklahoma thought was good, and then to keep it there. It was really hard to keep it there. The question you asked, I think, kind of fits that. At Oklahoma State, we've been consistent for so long that it allowed us to have success.
The consistency, though, a lot of that was you guys built rosters that you kept guys and you developed them. You had a staff that was there. Like, that isn't this going into this season. Obviously, brand new coaching staff, lots of transfers. That's just the age we're in. So, does the formula have to be different, or can the consistency be a part of it moving into this season?
That's going to be the real challenge, and for us, even in August, I think that for me to sit here and say that we've got a great culture and we've had great team chemistry and all that, how do we really know?
Yeah.
So we had 65 new players, everybody knows that. 35 of them just got here June 1st. And 18 of those are portal transfers that need to be playing in the first game, or we shouldn't have took them. So when you think about that, we've got 35 guys that'll be practicing that we've never even seen in pads. So that has to develop in August, in my opinion. And what I shared with the players a few times over the summer and the coaches, at some point when we get started here at the end of July, we have to put aside portal transfers and money, and we have to coach and play college football, because 99% of it's going to be the same at least until December. You can't go anywhere and we can't go anywhere. So if the teams, in my opinion, who can put all that stuff aside, which will be really challenging because you're talking about large sums of money and money causes problems, in my opinion, to give us the best chance to win and hope and help us create some consistency in the month of August, because that's when it's going to have to happen.
Cam talked a little bit about having a chip on his shoulder after last year, but when you have so many newcomers, can you play with that mentality? Because a lot of these players, like you said, are first-year players.
I mean, as a group, I don't think it would do me much good to go in and say, did you guys like last year? Huh? You want more of that? Half of them will be like, I don't even know what I did last year or what school they were at. So that's good that he feels that way. There has to be a certain type of motivation from each one of them and the coaches as well.
You find it easier to overachieve when you're going into a year like this rather than trying to maintain, like you were talking about, if you're coming off a 10-win season? Is it easier to get guys motivated at that level?
I don't know. Like, the one thing that's a little surprising with young people is if you asked them what somebody thought or their predictions would be for this fall, most of them wouldn't know, because that's not what they look at. It's not what they read. Now, I guess if you were a top 10 team, because of the notoriety, maybe they would notice. But for the majority, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. They have to, I think it's important they have a purpose for why they're there. And if it's driven by money, still to this point, when we're playing the season, or something other than what would be a traditional team concept, I think it could be an issue. That's why I go back to what I said, that these things have to be put aside now. And if you want to do well as an individual, and you want to make more money, if that's what drives you, or you want to play in the NFL, then the best chance of that is you performing well and being a team player. And that will allow you to achieve your goals if that's what they're looking for.
Mike, you said two things, a lot of things today. Two things you said is everybody's suing, and then you said you tell your players they can't go anywhere until December.
Well,
But
they can.
well, but my question is, everybody wants guardrails and cut back on all the chaos, but could we be headed for more chaos? Could we be headed for in-season transfers and people suing to play immediately?
You are.
So is that a concern? Is that a concern for coaches that it may get worse before it gets better?
Well, one thing that I've come to realize, I'm not concerned with any of it anymore because I don't control any of it. Honestly, like at the Big 12 meetings this year in Orlando, we actually got 3 or 4 things accomplished, which was the first time we've ever done that. And it was almost a little bit of dire straits because there's so many things that need to be accomplished, but it's hard to get everybody in a room to agree on stuff. You're gonna, and when I bring that up, we were joking about the video, the picture there for the video game, but every day you're reading about somebody's filed a different lawsuit, even though we were supposed to be getting over that hurdle. But that's not going to happen. And so the thing that concerns me is that I just hope that we don't get so far out of the ballpark of college athletics that we drive away viewership and fans and donors. That's what I'm worried about. Because I know I have some buddies that I grew up with that will say, I watch y'all play because I know who you are, but other than that, I don't care about watching you anymore. And that's what I don't want that to happen for the big picture. That's why there needs to be some structure, a college football commissioner, so we can start thinking long term.
What'd you get accomplished in Orlando?
We'll be available after.